Hello, Joey. Oh, how's it going?
Hi, CEAZOR.
Well, I was hoping you could help me. I got all these debts, all these liquidations coming in. I gotta pay off my debts.
Oh, CEAZOR, that's too bad.
Yeah, could you summon me some money from the magical place?
CEAZOR, I'm not a wizard. I'm an alchemist.
Alchemist? Well, what's that?
We use science to turn things into other things.
Oh, I've got all this copper. Can you turn it into gold?
Let's give it a try. Throw it in the Crucible.
Hello and welcome to Caesar's Snack Sandwich. Today we're taking a look at Alchemist. Now the reason why I'm looking at this is because it came up in an AMA that I did the other day, or that I was listening to on Popsicle Finance, and they're talking about some partnership between Popsicle and Alchemist here. So I decided to look into this and find out what it is. It's pretty interesting. I like this. It's very clever. It's pretty unique, and it has a very good use case. Now, when you first come to the website, there will be some sort of pop-up here that tells you to, you could go to the facts in the docs and read it, but I guess because I've already used it and created a Crucible that I don't have this anymore. So you can come to the facts here and read it. It's quite good. It's quite clear, and then you can also go to the docs and read more, go to the Discord and ask more questions and so forth. So before I go in and show you the buttons and stuff, let's go to a flowchart and I kind of explain to you what a Crucible is and how it works and how it is going to interact with DeFi. So let's swing over to that now. Okay, so here I am on the flowchart, and let's get started. So here we have this wizard here, and he wants to, or the alchemist, and he wants to mint himself a Crucible, right? He wants to take advantage of this opportunity. So what does he have to do? The first step he has to do is he has to obtain some ETH, which I assume he probably already has, and some MIST tokens. The MIST token is the token of the Alchemist protocol, or whatever you want to call this community. This is their governance token, so to speak. So what has he got to do then? Then he has to use these two to create an LP on Uniswap, and he will get his LP token back into his wallet. So this is just currently the way that they want people to be able to mint Crucibles. They need to have this LP token. So you need to provide liquidity, and by providing liquidity, you are gaining some trading fees on these two tokens that when people do swap on Uniswap for these tokens. So now he has this LP token inside his wallet, and he will go to the website, the Alchemist website here, and he would use this LP to mint a Crucible, and the LP would go into the Crucible. It wouldn't burn, it doesn't spend it, it just goes inside the Crucible. Now the Crucible is like a box that is sitting inside your wallet, and you can put these LP tokens inside the Crucible. And it has some good features, like maybe someone hacks your wallet and they come inside, they drain all the ETH, they drain all the tokens, and then they look and they see this thing and they're like, what is this Crucible thing? And they just ignore it. And apparently this has happened to some people. So this is kind of like but in the future, people will understand what is a Crucible, and they will probably send that out instead. So anyways, so you put these LP tokens in here, and this Crucible has some other features that I'll explain in a second. So one of the features is it can take many different tokens, like any ERC20 token can just be stuck inside there. So I talked about Popsicle Finance, was talking to them and maybe have some sort of partnership in the future. So maybe Popsicle Finance will say, hey, we'll reward you if you put your ICE tokens in the Crucible, or we'll reward you if you put a ETH ICE token LP on Uniswap, or maybe SushiSwap, or Popsicle Finance, some sort of LP. Stick that in here and we'll give you some rewards, or maybe even the PLPs, from the other things. Anyways, you can put any kind of token you want in here that's an ERC20 transferable token. So this thing kind of works like an NFT, because they're all going to have different values, or all different assets inside. So they're not transferable. You can't change one Crucible for another because it's filled with a bunch of tokens that are different. So don't just swap your Crucible with somebody for their Crucible, because there's the value locked inside will be probably different, right? So continue on. So why would you want to do this now? Let's say Popsicle Finance says they want to reward this process of sticking these tokens in here, right? So what the Crucible does is it tells the farm that you've got these tokens in here and you've subscribed them or locked them in there. So you have to, there's a button you need to press, you need to subscribe to it, and it kind of locks your tokens inside the Crucible. But the Crucible remains inside your wallet, and your tokens remain inside your wallet. But it tells the farm that oh, he's locked his tokens, you can start accruing him some rewards. So these rewards will start piling up for when you're ready to claim them and so forth. So the tokens, your initial assets never actually go into the farm. Now this farm has to be created using the Crucible farming codes. So these are open source, but this has to be created differently. This is not a normal farm. It has to be a Crucible farm. So the projects have to take advantage of this and set this up based on, using the code from the Alchemist dev website or whatever. They need to build this farm. So another thing you can do with your Crucible is you can just send your Crucible to somebody. Let's say this is your grandma, your friend, or your father or whatever, and you build up a Crucible for him with all kinds of different assets inside here that are like yield bearing, and some are just like capital gains, and then you can just send that to him, and he can just be like, oh, thanks, and you've got it all managed for him, and he's, it's all set up for him, and he doesn't need to do anything. And then so you could just send it to people, right? Another possibility use is you could send it to like a HODL wallet. So you could use a DeFi wallet as something that you're poking around all over with, and you can fill it all up, and then you can send it to some DeFi wallet. So I should mention that, all you can just keep making LPs and keep making Crucibles. They do have some costs, but it's about the cost of like maybe 2 swaps on Uniswap. I did it today. Gas is really cheap, but it cost me like $15 to mint the Crucible, which is pretty good. Okay, so these are some of the options and the future things that you could do with this, and some of the things you currently can do with it. And there was one more thing I want to warn you about. Okay, now this is open source, so anyone can just take this farm and build a farm on their website and say, hey, come and use your Crucible to interact with our farm, and maybe if they're malicious, they could set it up with some sort of modify the code to maybe take your Crucible, take something out of your Crucible. I'm not sure. It's pretty Loctite, but just the main idea is that the main thing I'm trying to message to you is that don't use your Crucible in some website. Always go to the Alchemist website. If there is a farm, they will add it to the website, and you can then use the Alchemist website to take part in this farm, to subscribe to the farm, and start to gain these rewards. So don't send your Crucible, or don't interact with other websites with your Crucible, and don't send it to people you don't know. So let's swing back to the other site, and I'll show you the Crucible that I made and some of the buttons that you can press and things that you can see over there. Okay, so here I am back on the Alchemist website and the Crucible thing, and here's your Crucibles. Now, as you can see, I've made this Crucible. It does have a wallet address, a token address, right? And I have one subscription. That basically means that I'm currently, getting rewards. But when you come here, you'll have to come here and mint. You'll have to, the screen will look different than this. I'll show it to you. It looks like that. Now, you will mint up your Crucible. It'll go into your wallet, and then you will be able to see this website here. It will change and kind of look a little bit different. And then you can open this up and see the details. Now, there are some tabs here that you can use to interact with. So here is the first reward program that I'm currently subscribed to. It's the Mist reward, and as you can see, it asks me for these tokens. Now, when I minted this, it automatically subscribed me to this, and I could unsubscribe to it. Now, it's an optional thing. You don't need to subscribe to all the reward things, but if you find a farm in here, you can then come and try to subscribe to it if you have the tokens inside your Crucible. Transfer. Now this is what they're saying is if you do want to send your Crucible to another wallet, they suggest that you use the transfer here instead of just send the Crucible, like add it to your MetaMask and send it to another wallet. They suggest you to use this. I'm not exactly sure why. They did tell me, but I can't remember exactly what it is. So if you are thinking about transferring your tokens, ask in the Telegram like how to send it and transfer the Crucible to somewhere else. Here we can see what's inside my tokens, and as you can see, I have this LP that I created, and it's locked right now. If I wanted to gain my rewards, I could press withdrawal here. I'm sorry, I was using the wrong button. So you go over to back to rewards here, and you come down here to reward, and you can claim and unsubscribe. So currently right now, this reward system requires you to claim and unsubscribe at the same time, and here's the tokens of the reward. Now this could have multiple tokens. It could have I asked the devs and stuff about this, and I think they said there could be 50 tokens. My memory is a little bit foggy on it. At least 10. I know 10, but I think they said 50. They could have so if I set up a farm, I could decide to put 50 different tokens in here as rewards. Now it's basically like a normal farm where you would, put the protocol would stick tokens into the farm at to be distributed at for a certain period of time, and you would get your percentage of that based on how much value you've locked compared to everyone else, right? So I think that pretty much covers it. It'll give you a good idea what's going on. Now I haven't clearly showed you every single button to press and stuff, but that's something you can come and discover for yourself and learn. I think you have a pretty good idea what's going on inside Crucible and the use case of it. I think it's pretty interesting. I like the idea that it's non-custodial. This is the main key factor, is that your asset, your LP, is never locked in some other contract. It's always in your wallet. So your initial capital is pretty much locked tight and safe. You don't have to worry about like a rug pull. The only thing anybody will be able to rug on you is your rewards that you're accruing. They could maybe somehow rug that, but they wouldn't be able to rug your Crucible or the tokens therein. Okay, so thanks so much for watching, and I hope this is useful, and goodbye.